Good morning, Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. We are doing our wrap up of round 5. Y'all, we are halfway through the National Finals Rodeo, and you are tuning into the NFR Hangover brought to you by Bullfrog Creatives and a few other good looking cowboys that we will introduce here shortly. Listen, there's a lot of changes that happened last night, changes in the average, changes in the go-around wins, and changes in leaders. And clearly, you guys know where to come for all the behind-the-scenes stories. Entries, apparently entering to the Thomas and Mack may have improved, and there might have been a celebrity sighting. You guys are not going to want to miss today's show. So stay tuned. All right. So before we find guests here, Tony Branquino and Jim Boy Hash, quick shout out to our sponsors, Cinch Jeans and Shirts, Lead Don't Follow, and of course, Con Williams Art Studio, who is now in Vegas. It is the next week, and they will be setting up for the Working Ranch Expo. Opens tomorrow, I believe, 9 to 4, Thursday and Friday, 9 to 4. So you guys are going to want to swing over there. So what's the scoop, guys?
Well, I tell you what, it's
Is that a loaded question?
That's a loaded question. It's a typical NFR for Casey Fields. Hey, I'm going to come in the top 5, and then I'm just going to go on a tear and place in every go round and kind of take the lead to the average and halfway point be in the lead for the world. So, it was an exciting round, but a lot of moving and shaking. I think we're seeing in the rough stock events the guys are starting to get sore, Mm-hmm. And we talked with Logan and Doug the other day, they're working with these guys, or they've got some of their clients are trying to keep healthy as much as they can, but you're getting on the best stock in the world for 10 nights in a row. You're going to get sore, and it's starting to show. You're starting to see guys get, they're a little sore when they walk out of the arena.
Well, and it's kind of this stage in the game where that pre-planning and the workouts and, the staying in shape, that all starts to show in who is still moving and riding the same ability that they were on that first night. This is where those workouts pay off.
Yeah, this is where the time and preparation beforehand, it really shows. It really comes into effect. And like I said, everybody in the top 50, especially in the rough stock riding, they are extremely well-conditioned athletes. But the ones that put the extra effort in, the extra time in of getting their body to peak condition and ready to recover. It's not so much being in peak condition to perform; it's being in condition to recover after a rank ride. And you're seeing it. But a lot of things changed last night. We saw a few people stub their toes, a few people making some moves. Tie down rope, and look at Caleb Schmidt. I mean, I'm going to go look right now in the world standings. Yeah. He's giving himself a shot right now. Shane Hanshey's still got the lead, but Caleb Schmidt is only $2,000 behind him. I mean, that's just –
it seems like there's a lot of closer races this year than there has been in the past. There's just not as many all-out runaways.
Right. But and I know Shane's going through a lot with losing his horse, and he comes and wins the first round, but then he's just had, like Joe said last night, he's just got to keep tying these calves down he's getting. He's not drawn in the heart of the herd real well. But Caleb, I think, won 2 rounds, placed second last night. He's worked his way up, and with 5 calves left, he's in prime position to claim a 3rd gold buckle. So I think what's going to hurt Shad on that front is being out of the average. But you're seeing a lot of things change and at the halfway point. So we'll see what round 6 brings as we start down the backside of the NFR tonight.
Yep. Jim Boy, I know you have updates for us.
I did get a report from the roving reporter on the ground I left out there. Tom Miller, he gave me a full report this morning. So let's see here. They have the entry lines fixed. They're getting them in there a lot quicker now. All's good in metal detector land. He still hasn't seen them stop a single person that triggers it. So just going through.
Maybe they're just keeping count. There's like a tally.
Yeah. The mass police are getting worn down, but still haven't given up yet. It's still awesome to win around, and Emily still won't let him drink her Pendleton. The buckle ceremony was at 9:30. they went down and had a steak in the Silverado Steakhouse there, and about they had to hustle through it. It seems like they're running through the Beckel ceremony quicker. And I did step to watch that last night, and I could tell there wasn't as much editing. They're kind of shuffling them on through there.
Yeah, I did not.
No.
So, and then he says, my guess is Cody Devers is going to give it up. Man, he's just going to get hurt. I mean, I can commend his, that kid rodeoed for me here his first 2 years, and Kendra Santos put a deal out there yesterday, and I will go ahead and explain my remark a little bit. This is coming from a junior college rodeo coach.
I love it.
When they just mentioned Northwestern, Oklahoma State now, and Stockton's a great guy and a hell of a bulldogger. Look where he's at, and look where I'm sitting today. But the junior colleges, they help them kids a lot, and they never get much recognition, and that kind of stuff, that's where a lot of them kids learn how to grow up. We help them learn how to figure out life a little bit. And if they ain't got that figured out, then they're not going to make it. We're out there in Vegas right now, in my opinion. And that boy knew how to bulldog when he got here. That's why I got him. You think a lot of them, anywhere they go, I don't care where they go. You think them kids at Tarleton? I mean, there's a lot of hands at Tarleton. You think none of them were any good? Shoot, it's just a matter of just getting them there,
Yeah.
But a little bit bitter because I said he came here, rodeoed. I knew he was tough, and then he went to Alvin and learned how to bulldog. But, so there you go. I got off your chest.
Yeah, Kendra went off on that guy. I mean, I'm looking at her post right now, and you can tell he doesn't want. It's his first NFR. He wants to give it his all, but man, last night it was scary. That steer kind of stepped off there, into him, and you saw he couldn't even get his arm out to help brace for the fall, and just it's unfortunate.
What we're talking about, folks, is Kendra Santos, Taylor Santos, who's competing there, writes a lot of great articles, has forever. I guess some dude at the rodeo, when Cody looked like a fool the other night, in his opinion, or whatever, how'd he make it here? I'm sure he was drunk, had his hat on backwards, they said, and he was sitting right in front of him. But the announcers aren't announcing. I don't think they have announced what Cody's deal is. But he's seeing that one picture. It's wonders horse is even running up through there for him at all, Well, and I was trying to think yesterday, I'm like, I wonder if there would be a brace they could come up with for him, but there's just no way.
They just strap it in. I know when my brother tore his pec in 2005, and he tore right after Greeley, or right between at Reno, went to Greeley to run his first one, and he said he got off and caught the steer and just all of a sudden just pushed, he had no power, and they were going to try to strap it in, and well, then you strap it in, now you can't, you don't have any range, you don't have any motion, so it just,
and that's become a danger. He's going to hurt himself worse. I commend him trying to do it, but and that in any event, and I don't care if you're a calf roper, if you're favoring something, and
you're just going to make it worse.
Or even a team roper.
Well, at some point you've got to wave the white flag and live to fight another day, and go have the surgery. You're going to be out for 6 months, regroup, come back the end of next year. get qualified for. I mean, essentially, you're looking at 2023 NFR.
So before we get too far, I need to tell you, Jim Boy, what a beautiful cowboy hat you have on. How's that for a lead-in? And Tom Miller actually said that they briefly touched on the injury last night, but didn't really explain it. So, I mean, what kind of injury was it? And I do want to bring in our guest today because she's looking at us. She's looking at me like, what are you doing with me here? So let's bring our guest in, Mercedes Maddox. I'm guessing that this girl's got some stuff that she can add to our general conversation too. So hi, Mercedes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. So I know that you have some other stories that you're going to tell us, but please feel free to chime in as Jim Boy and we kind of go through the show as you feel. Like it's pretty laid back and open, and we just like to talk about rodeo. So
it's very unstructured structure. So
organized chaos.
Okay,
I was trying to use a word other than chaos, unstructured structure, but yes.
So, the other day we fly into Vegas, take my family to Vegas, and I'm wearing a straw hat from another company, won't mention. And my sons do some Snapchats of us, Well, my brother that I mentioned yesterday, he enjoys the finer things in life. But we get there and he texts me, he's like, hey, give me a call, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, mom died or something. But
that's where your mind went.
Then he's like, so I call him and he says, why are you wearing a straw hat in Vegas? I'm like, well, dude, I left home and it was warm and I checked the weather and it's going to be warm here. So I just wore a straw hat. I don't have to put one on Labor Day weekend, and go back to the straw hat Memorial Day weekend. I do what I want. Nobody tells me what to do. Well,
yeah. I saw you looked over there checking for your wife real quick, and nobody tells me what to do.
Yeah. So anyhow, he tells me, he says, go to the convention and go to the trade show and go to the American Hats booth and get you a hat. I will pay for it. I'm like, oh, cool. All right.
Okay.
So we go and we're sauntering through there and we see the booth and oh my gosh, the people. It's like every rodeo fan in America decided they needed a hat at that moment. I kid you not. It was chaos. As one of the guys said, once you get your hat over here, you go around over here between our booth and this other guy's booth. And that other guy has to hate American hats. I don't know. Because he was selling boots. Nobody was standing there to buy any boots. But it was like, the term run the gauntlet to get your hat shaped. There's 5 people shaping hats. And I mean, a serious line. So kudos to you guys. I wanted to, my brother, he's like, well, we'll have Danny shape it, have Danny shape it. And who's running the register? I'll just take care of it that way. So we get that all handled. But anyhow, and these guys understand customer service. They make you feel welcome. They give you a little beverage treat while you're standing in line if you want. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to, last year we never did. I tried getting somebody on from the trade show last year to kind of talk about the differences from Arlington and Vegas. And so that kind of fit in here. They have a neat story, this family does. So Mercedes, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell me y'all's story, your family's story of how the business came about. And then I have questions about hats and we'll have plenty of questions, but just tell me y'all's story a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised right outside of Fort Worth, Texas. And my dad was always, is Keith Maddox. He passed away 2 years ago, September 2019. And he was a great man, always was in the Western industry. He was a Tony Mama boot rep, sales rep for so many years. And he knew that he wanted to own his own business in the Western industry. And so in 1995, he tried to buy American Hat Company, which is the hat company that we own now. It had been passed down from the original family. American Hat Company started in 1915. And it was out of Conroe, Texas. My dad tried to buy it, thought the deal was going to go through, drove down to Conroe. And then the owners had decided that they were going to give it to their kids last minute. So it fell through. So I was too young. I was only like 2 years old when this was happening. But I just hearing the stories from my mom and dad say it, like, he was so angry on his drive back. He was just gripping that steering wheel, just like so angry. So in spite of that, he was like, they were in the stockyards and there was an old feed store building that was for sale right north on North Main Street, right above the stockyards, about a block north. And so they bought that and started the Best Hat Store, which is our retail store. And that was started in 1996, and we're still alive today, 25 years later. And at that time, they sold everything in hats. They sold, we had Stetson Resistol, American Hat, Bailey hats, all of them. So that was a little booming business that they started in 1996. And then in 2003, actually, American Hat Company was going bankrupt. And my dad was able to buy it in 2003 from the bank for pennies on the dollar than what he was going to buy it in 1995. So it really comes full circle. He bought that in 2003, him and my mom together. And then they moved it up from Conroe to Bowie, Texas, which is an hour north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And from there, it's just been incredible to see the growth from what the reputation American Hat has now than what it had in 2003 when my dad bought it. So it's been a really cool ride to see. And I am actually just kind of back into the business. So I went off after college. I had my CPA. I went to New York City and I was working at PricewaterhouseCoopers and auditing hedge funds, just a completely different life.
Yeah.
And then when my dad passed away, September of 2019, and COVID hit March of 2020, my sister and I were both in New York, and we quarantined down in Texas, and my mom had taken over both businesses, and she just kind of had her hands full. And I was like, my sister and I both were like, this is our time. Like, all the stars are aligned. We need to move back to Texas. So we did last October, and I quit my job at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I came full on time board with Best Hat and American Hat. So it's only been a year. I've grown up around hats my entire life, but I've learned a ton. Like, I've never been in the process completely, just always been around it. So it's been a great learning curve and ride this past year.
And tell me about the big fire.
Yes. Okay. So this was 2 years after my parents bought American Hat Company. They brought it up to Bowie, and it was actually Thanksgiving week. I think it was actually on Thanksgiving Day. There was an electric fire that spread to our factory, and we lost $13 million in inventory.
Oh my goodness.
And the best thing about my mom and dad is like I was only like 7, I was 10 years old at the time, maybe 12, but you just never let it waver. They were always so positive. They were like, what are we going to do? My dad just put all of his cards down. He put a second mortgage on our house. They basically took out from their 401k, they took out from their retirement, tried to get back. And eventually we did have to go through the lawsuit with the insurance company, everything like that. But it eventually turned around. But during that time, they were like, what are we going to do here? But they decided to keep it all and continue on. So.
Wow.
That's a setback.
That's a setback.
I think for most people, that would have been the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mercedes, and you can elaborate on this though, but your dad's brand, his motto, positive times, his brand. And I'm fortunate because I knew your dad personally from the Vista Doria ride. We were in the same camp up there out here. So I got to spend time with him from the time I was 21 up in the camp. So he was a very close friend with my father, with my family. So he was one of the most upbeat, positive men and always had a smile on his face. But can you explain a little bit to everybody, his motto of positive times? Because, you ask, how's things going? I had a bad day. I had a bad day one or now. I can't remember his saying, but he just always had a way of lightening the mood no matter what the situation was.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, his infamous quote is, I've never had a bad day. I had a bad 15 minutes once, and I won't do that again.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to excuse the hat hair, and I had washed my hair this morning. But so on every hat now, we always do our American Hat patch. But this is the patch that we kind of started after Dad passed away. And so that Plus X was my dad's cattle ranching brand that he's had. And we've always had it in our family. But when he passed away, we were like, we want to leave on his legacy more than just Keith Maddox. And so we started putting these patches out, and that means positive times. He was just always the most positive, even like up to his last days of living. He was like, there's worse things in life than dying. Like, you girl, you all will be great. He was just always so positive in business and in life and personal and everything. So we kind of ran with that for his legacy, and it has taken off so tremendously. It's been incredible to see what that Plus X has done, because I think it's also like a conversation starter, an intriguing point. You see that Plus X, but you're like, you see it on quite a few hats. Even some of our hats that aren't, some people that aren't even wearing American hats, they still will put that plus X patch on. And so it's just a conversation starter to kind of explain what that is. And it's just kind of our North Star in our business, and like always strive to be the best and positive and,
Well, I tell you what, you guys are doing a great job continuing on his legacy. And I mean, he was one of the greatest men that I ever had the pleasure of calling a friend, and to see the way that your mom, your sister, yourself, have continued on with the company, and the way you guys continue to build the company and build the brand, and bringing these young and up and coming rodeo athletes and superstars into the fold, and the way they represent you guys. It's just amazing to see, and congratulations. It's truly special.
Thank you very much.
I can tell you the amount of time I spent in line the other day, I saw the huge amount of respect for you guys. And, like my brother, and he told me some things. I don't know, he knows a lot of people, he seems to hang out with a lot of, like the story when I was getting on the plane in Dallas that one morning, and Randy Rogers, the Randy Rogers band, is that right?
Yeah.
Like I see him carrying his guitar, and he has his Mandalay Bay jacket on, and I'm like, "Oh, you playing out there?" He's like, "Yeah," and I don't have any idea who he is. And I said, what band you with? Oh, the Randy Rogers band. I said, "Oh, cool. What's your name?" Randy Rogers. And I'm like, "Hey, my brother's like a groupie. He follows all you guys around. He loves all the music. I don't know anything, but I said, you wouldn't know Dalen Hash, would you?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be partying together New Year's Eve." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's kind of the same way. My brother's like, "Here," I get up there and like, "Who's this?" "Mercedes." "Okay." So I hand her the phone and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" He sends her a picture, texting, but he's telling me how great everyone around there is, the whole family, and the business and everything. But like I say, just the people I seen coming to the booth. And it's funny, there's two young men standing there with me, two young boys, and they didn't know much. And so he had questions about hats, and I was kind of helping. He goes, will you help me? Yeah. So I help him find a hat. And then we go around there, and he goes, "And you're told to get in a certain guy's line?" He goes, "We're going with you because we want the best." Well, I'm sure they're all quite capable. I could take this home and shape it myself. If they just let me back there, I'd shape it. But I stood in line for quite a while and had a good time. But and I'll get to something else here in a minute that happened while I was in line. But I want to, one thing I wanted to ask you, I wanted to have you on here today was, the finals went to Texas last year, and there's the whole debate, everybody wanting, take it back to Texas. Oh, it's so great in Texas, everything's good. And this is a forum here where you can say whatever you want. Well, I mean, we had Justin Rumford on here the other day, so you can say whatever you want. I was talking to my brother about it last night, and he said did you guys even have a booth at the convention last year or whatever? Y'all probably just used your own store.
Well, yep, that's correct. We did not. That was our first time that we did not do set up a booth at Cowboy Christmas last year, because it was a couple miles from our store right in the stockyard. So we just tried to advertise that we're not there, but we're close by, and people still came to our store. So
it worked. But you like being back in Vegas?
I do, yes. I think it was really exciting that NFR could even happen last year when Vegas didn't allow it, and I think it was neat to see it in Arlington and around the Fort Worth area, and it was really successful for us as well. But it is a lot more when we're from there and we're hosting every night and all of that. And so Mom and I are like, oh, it's kind of nice to, when you're in Vegas, you close your shop up you close the booth at 4 p.m. You can go and just have a chill night in your hotel room because you're not a host, and when it's in your own, and it's when you're in your own backyard, you feel the need to host your customers, your clients, day in, day out. So it was an exhausting time. I thought it worked really well in Texas, but I am excited. I'm happy to be back here and at least be back here for a few more years. I think there needs to be some different infrastructure in Arlington per se. There's not really great hotels and all that. So people are traveling, and, you think Dallas Fort Worth as one one whole city, but they are pretty far away when you get into the traffic and everything. So if it were to come and like when our contract is up and that would be four more years, I think that there would be needing to be a lot more hotels, more hospitality, all of that around where the Globe Life field is at.
A little more infrastructure put in place around Globe Life.
Yes.
How many hats do we all sell per day on average this week?
This week? Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know. I could look that up for you.
I don't know if to keep up. I mean, there's no way y'all had enough room to stock the booth, whether you stock it at the end of the day or first thing in the morning. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, a little
there's
bit of
no
both.
way. You had to have sent somebody back out to a storage trailer somewhere.
Oh yes, that happens every 10, 20 minutes. We're having to send. We actually had hired 2 guys that are kind of our runners, and one just stays in that trailer all day long. So this is our booth set up now. We actually have 800 square feet, which is the most we've ever had. 2 years ago when we were in Vegas in 2019, we could hold 450 hats in our booth at a time, and we had everything else in the trailer. We brought like 2,600 hats in 2019, and we sold about 21 or 2,200. And so we are sold out completely on a lot of things. And so we just have runners go back and forth. But this year we can hold 900 hats, and it is still crazy. We brought about 3,000 hats this year, and we're selling out after first weekend. It's been crazy to see.
That's unbelievable. What the other vendors? I know y'all are like a bunch of groupies. You have your friends from other companies or whatever.
Yes,
I get Trish Price's snaps, and we've been friends since she called rodeo in this region of college rodeo. But I guess tell me the majority of the opinions. Most people want to stay in Vegas. Would they like to go back? Or
I think for now, everyone's happy to be in Vegas. I think, the mask mandate whole situation, I think, has been a little difficult. And I've heard that they've really started cracking down the past few days. And it's kind of hard to tell the clients and customers that shop with us that you have to wear masks, because a lot of people, don't agree with that being forced to. So I think it'll be interesting. They've kind of started cracking down on it, and I've heard there's been threats and things about closing down people that aren't going to be wearing masks. So we're just like wary to watch that, see how that kind of unfolds for the second half of NFR.
Myself, there was one booth I went to a lady, and I bought a product, and she had her mask on. They had their mask on in the booth, so I respect them, put my mask on, but most people that I seen, you walked in the first little corridor to get in there, and that's where the security and everybody was kind of wanting you to. Once you got through there and got in with everybody else, it came off, and there was nobody really walking around telling you to put them on once you got in there. But I did, like I mentioned yesterday, I read an article before we left from the Las Vegas Journal that it kind of seemed like maybe the health department was going to be kind of being a little more visible Tuesday. So
yes,
hopefully things kind of, it's just one of them deals. We just play the game.
Right.
Well, they're figuring a new group of people are coming in. They're going to come in and scare them. It's a new group of Cowboys. We couldn't scare the last group to flying out Sunday. New groups coming in Monday, Tuesday. We're going to see if we can stop this group and make them wear their masks.
Right.
Okay, tell me a little bit. I want to know, like if people go online or buy, I guess can they buy hats out of NRS magazine or different places?
Yes. Yeah, so our booth also that is set up that we're all at, it's the best hat store booth because everyone at Cowboy Christmas is all just the retail stores, and so American Hat is being sold in other retailers at Cowboy Christmas as well right now. That was just our specific standalone best hat store, but it's being sold at Heads or Tails, Cavender's, NRS. So it is all around, and some people that don't want to wait in the line to get their hat shaped. We've this past weekend, and at any given moment, it was at least like an hour and a half long wait to get their hat shaped. And we serve them beer or water and try, honestly, it's been shocking to see that no one has like really complained. Everyone has been such a good sport about it. And if they don't want to wait in that long of a line, we always, direct them to some of our other retailers that they'll be able to, get shaped up from there.
Well, you guys have provided an experience, so people are wanting to stay.
Yes.
These guys understand the customer service deal, give them the pickle. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but they get it, so, just I walked away there from there with a koozie, and I don't know how many beers I had down me, but it was great.
Yes, we're like, we are doing beer runs all the time because we're like, we'll get you another one, refill, because we just try to keep the customers happy.
So when you buy a hat, say, I got a friend watching this right now, and they're like, okay, they come pre-shaped.
So majority of ours, like 98% of ours, do not. We can do pre-creasing, and majority of ours at the Best Hat Store. American Hat, we can pre-crease them at our factory and give to our retailers, and we do that because we have retailers all across the globe and that sell American Hat, and some retail stores don't have the shaping skills from their employees as some others ones. So it is a personal preference based on that retailer. So we can do pre-creasing, but at Best Hat Store, we have a few pre-creased straws, but everything else all comes open crown, flat brim. And so especially we've been like Fort Worth has been booming because I don't know if you guys have been there or seen it, but Hotel Drover and Mule Alley, and it's growing so massively. And so we're having so many first-time hat buyers than we've ever had before. Like our clientele always used to just be, cowboys, ranchers that have always worn the cowboy hat and know the whole process. And more we are seeing people coming up the street from, they're visiting because Fort Worth Stockyards is like a destination now. People are coming and that's doing their family trips and things. So we are explaining more about the hats because you come in to our store or at the booth and you see all these hats, just open crown, flat brim. And you're like, oh, I like this, but I don't like it like that. And so we have to explain the whole thing. Like everything is so customizable. We can do any shape. Every hat comes like that. Like I wear fashion hats sometimes, I see men wearing open robes or fedoras and things like that. So it's been really cool to see. It's, you pick the color, you pick your quality, we size you. And then when you get to that shaper's bar, they can do anything with their hands in that steam. And we've created like a shaper's book recently because seeing so many people having questions and not quite understanding how that hat can turn into something like this. And so we've tried to grab every Western shape that most popular, every fashion shape that's most popular, all of that. So they can kind of flip through that while they wait too and be like, oh, I think I like this. And then the shapers will tailor it to their face too.
And I will warn everyone, go with a bigger size than you normally do. They're sized differently.
Okay.
Yes, we are. We are typically one size up from, so we're, I guess, typically a smaller hat. So we always size one size up from Resistol and Sets, and everyone, people come and say, oh, I'm a 7 1/4. And I'm like, well, is that in American? And if they say Resistol, we always go up to the 7 3/8. So it's always usually one size up.
Yeah, I generally wear a 3/8, and I put it on. It didn't even begin to come down. Like, oh, no way.
So I know what it fit like. It fit like that little hat you walked in the meeting with the college finals. I know it. I got to get a picture of that, Jim Boy. I got to get that picture of that.
Yes, we do strive on the fit because we're like, we always say, you'll never wear too tight of a hat. And we could give you a relief. We can try stretching it. People call and can you stretch a hat? Well, we can, but that 2 hours of relief and it'll go right back to that smaller. So we always say, let's err on the larger side. We can always make the hat smaller. We can't make the hat larger.
And by the name American Hat, it's American made.
Yes. Everything is American made, which we are very proud of. And we do a lot of things especially in today's world, we're so proud that we have American Hat Company and just the pride for America and everything that's happened during the pandemic. And so, yes, we always tip our hats to all the frontline workers, anyone in the military, all of that. We're just so proud that it's a patriotic company and everything is handmade in Bowie, Texas.
I tell you what, the ad on the Cowboy Channel, with Kofi Anderson's, song and Mr. Red, White, and Blue, and the one that I mean, it's a commercial and it gives me chills and almost brings tears into my eyes just because the way you guys honor the first responders and our military, and it's you guys, like I said, an amazing company, and it's just awesome to see what you do for everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I got to tell my story now.
I do have a picture.
You
tell your story. Yeah, well, one of the ones that you sent me.
Okay, so
of our special guest.
Yeah. So I'm standing in line, and been standing there for an hour and a half or so, and blah blah blah. I'm visiting with them two boys, and then this one dude, he's up there forever. I'm like, man, he's got to be golly, come on. Like me, I'm like, yeah, good enough. I'm out of there. But this one dude, I'm like, come on. And then he pulled up another hat. Like he bought a felt and a straw. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Let's go. So, and even Jayden, my younger boy, is like, Dad, let's go. I'm like, no, my brother buy me a hat. I'm going to do it. I never buy it because, okay, so my hats that I have are either free, given to me, cheap. One of my favorite hats was me. A friend of mine passed in a truck wreck, and it was his hat. His wife was good friends of ours, and she says, I want you to wear Jason's hat. And I said, you bet. And I do. I wear it, to college rodeos and around. But anyhow, I spend my money on my boys and not really on myself much. So anyhow, I'm standing there, and there's one little girl in front of me, and then her and the lady she's with, they're kind of playing two lines, They wound up in this line. So they get theirs done. I'm like, all right, here I go. But right before they're done, everybody starts, whoa, what was that? Whoa, they got their phones. I look over there. There's Chad Berger, Berger Buck and Bulls, infamous PBR contractor, and some other dude. I don't know who he is. They're like, it's Rip. I'm like, it's who? It's Rip. I watch Yellowstone. If it had been Beth, I'd have probably jumped the table and been over there, helped her out, whatever she needed. But so it's Rip. I'm like, oh, that's cool, So I do a Snapchat. I'm like, hey, everybody, look who's with Rip. It's Chad Berger, So anyhow, he gets him a hat, and they bring it over to Danny, my guy I've been waiting in line for, and they give Danny his hat. The little girl gets done. So I got bumped by Rip to get my hat shaped. So it's kind of like, my other famous person story is when my hauling partner, Greg Kernick, almost earholed Tim McGraw one night before Tim McGraw was famous.
It happens.
A long time ago in a little bar in Erie, Kansas. So I'm, that brought that memory back to me. I'm like, I should just go earhole Rip. I'd be famous, but I didn't. But I did get my hat out of the deal. So do you have the picture?
I do.
Looky there. There's
it was funny to see people start to recognize him because his hair isn't as dark in life than it is they dye it for the show. And it came in with just no hat and walked in behind. It took people a while, and especially when he started putting the hat on, were people starting to be like, "Oh my gosh!" And so we had a crowd of people, everyone just wanting to get a photo with him, and it was really cool.
What's really funny is I feel like my husband looks more like Rip than he does. We dressed as Beth and Rip for Halloween only because my husband didn't have to dress up. Like that was the only Halloween costume I could get him to do because he didn't have to do anything.
Y'all did look good. Y'all looked a lot like him.
Yeah.
Do we have a photo of that too?
We do not. Well, there is one on Facebook, so
I'll have to look it up.
I do not have that queued up.
Well, I remember in 2019, there at the finals, they got a picture of Luke and Rip, and I'm like, oh, so they based the character of Rip off of Luke with the, And then Luke was all proud of it. I said, I guess Rip's the skinnier version of you. That's what I told Luke. That might be why he hasn't got back to me this morning, Heidi. I'm still waiting for him to confirm for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't be picking on him. I'll have to send a gift basket.
Oh my gosh. That's pulled off.
I know.
Pretty well.
That is awesome.
That's one of the best ones I've seen. I feel like it was a really popular Halloween costume this year.
Yeah.
That's one of the best I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does he actually wear y'all's hats on set?
Not all of them, but we do. We are the official hat of Bosque Ranch, which is Taylor Sheridan's ranch. And so, loosely with Yellowstone in 1883, we've had quite a few cast members that have come in and received hats, and there are some on the show. We've even seen, I don't know if you guys are all caught up, and I haven't caught up since I'm in Vegas for this week, but we've even seen like the plus X on some of the ranchers and the ranch hands. So that's been really cool to see too. So it's not completely all American hats, but we do have quite a big percentage in the show.
Very cool. Yeah, I feel like there's always some kind of celebrity sighting, especially when it's in Vegas.
I know. Absolutely.
Okay,
let's try to get
rodeo a little bit.
Okay, hold on. He texts me and he's like, "You're not gonna believe this. Rip just cut in line." And I'm like, "Well, get a selfie." And he's like, "No."
I ain't looking at a place in line to go get a picture with Doogie Howser or
Cole Hauser, but Doogie, it's Doogie's younger brother. Oh, you do know he's a surfer, lives in Santa Barbara, right? I mean, lives literally 40 minutes from me.
Really?
Yeah. He's a California surfer, but like they said, add a little weight, a Carhartt jacket, and some scruff on your face, and makes any man attractive. So
right, and we've actually been able to last NFR and Fort Worth when we were at our store. Lloyd came in, Forey Smith, and that was really cool to see and hear his story too, because he actually does have some background in ranching business. And
wasn't he just a consultant at first? As they were just brought him on the show as kind of a consultant?
I believe so. And he's
kind of an extra, and all of a sudden he evolved into a full-time role. It's pretty cool.
Well, you can't walk like he does and not have a pretty strong background.
That's true.
Right.
One day they're going to do that with me and you, Tony. Bring us in as a consultant for something.
Yeah.
I think they're missing the boat on us, Jim Boy. I really do.
I know they are. Do we have a NIRA hat partnership with anyone? Do you know?
We do, actually. I believe Resistol is at the
I believe it
level.
is.
I know.
All right, never mind.
Just kidding. I will give myself a shameless plug. Bullfrog Creatives does not have a hat partner as of yet. My husband was like, "You have to say that. You have to say something." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Do you?
Hey, speaking of sponsor flags,
yes,
Wade Sundell last night.
My fantasy saddle bronc rider wins the round the night before and then gets smoked on the grand entry horse, and it looked like it hurt him. I mean, when he first jumped up, he runs out, he's waving, smiling. And then there's rumors that, hey, he might be hurt, this and that. And then you watch his ride, and you could tell he wasn't right. And I don't know.
You rewatch the grand entry. I told my husband, like, man, he's lucky he didn't get impaled by that flag.
Oh, he hit hard.
Yeah.
He, I think he went for CT scan or something last night. I think somebody said he was going to go get checked out. But so when I was student director at the college finals in Bozeman, which, by the way, Bozeman, have they even showed the cat's paw on the show yet?
I have not seen it.
For those college rodeo contestants that remember the CNFR back pre-95, when the cat's paw was the place to be. There was a biker bar throughout the year, but during rodeo week, it was the cowboy bar to be at. But yeah, I go to the college finals. It was 94 when I went as my first year student director, and I mounted out that year. I rode another guy's horse, and so I didn't take one. And so they give me one of the Harry Vold black horses to ride in the Grand Entry in the white saddle. And so we're doing the Grand Entry practice. Well, I just step on pretty loose saddle because we're just walking through it. I didn't figure we'd be going full bore. So we walked through it and trot through it kind of okay. Now, Bob Tallman's announcing, mind you. Okay, we're going to go full bore. We're full, here we go. And I go running down through there, and I make that first corner, and I feel the saddle kind of slip a little bit. And I've got my Central Plains Region flag in my hand. Make the next corner. It's a little bit more, and I'm coming down the straightaway, and old Blackie isn't liking it. I mean, my seat is kind of on the side, and I'm still kind of halfway, and Blackie unloads me, and I hit the ground, but I still had my flag. I did not let my Central Plains Region flag hit the ground. But I did catch grief from Bob Tallman for a long time. And the bulldogger cannot stay on his horse. So I kind of, I feel for Wade there. I know what it's like to get bucked off a flag horse. So
well, and then Patrick Smith, I mean, no sooner does it happen, he goes to Facebook and, hey, I'd like to let you know that I am no longer the reigning world champion of getting bucked off in the Grand Entry. That now belongs to Wade Sundell. Patrick Smith, I mean, Patrick Smith has been waiting for that for like 7 years. He's been waiting for somebody else to get bucked off so he could be like, all right, well, not me anymore. I'm not the one that got bucked off now. It's somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, so in that same post, somebody else posted the picture of Wade, and I kept like rewatching it because it started. I mean, he didn't just get chucked; like he was in there for a little while. And
yeah, he was trying to pull him up and ride him, and that horse just got stronger and stronger. But it was like Patrick Smith he's been watching the Grand Entry every year, waiting for somebody else to get bucked off so he could make that post. So all right, I'm out. It's not me anymore. That guy got bucked off since then.
So I know we already talked to Dusta is the one that provides the horses, but that wasn't one of her horses, was it?
I don't know. I know my brother was texting me. He's like, I'd like to talk to the person who furnished the flag horses. I'm like, did you watch the show the other day? But
yeah,
I don't know whose horse be, but who knows what happened? You never know. Did you see the announcement yesterday? I think I didn't really get to go back and watch it, but I think it was announced that the National High School Finals rodeo is going to be on the Cowboy Channel.
Yep, I saw that last night.
They announced it last night.
And you guys, Mercedes, you guys are strongly involved with that, right?
The National High School Final Rodeo? Yes, yeah. We are the official hat sponsor for both high school and junior high. And so it's been really cool. When we didn't have the money to spend on advertising as we were growing, we decided to start an ambassador program and start to, because we value kids and growing up with the values of the Western lifestyle and becoming education, continuing education and all that. And so we started an ambassador program. And so based on the kid and like their grades in school, what they do, based on a lot of things, they become an ambassador for us. And every year we get them a free straw hat and then a felt hat at wholesale price. And then they wear our patches and all of that. And so it's been really cool to see that happen in our junior high program and our high school program. And then seeing where these kids flourish too in their next steps in life. It's been really nice.
Yeah. That's a great partnership.
Yes, it has been.
Kenton Crouch just sent me, probably can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was the coolest bar when you're 18 and go to the college finals for the first time. We were there together, Jim Boy. Probably at the cat spot at the same time, but
I probably wasn't coherent much.
Neither was I. I'm pretty sure, but
so that first year we go, and I shouldn't tell my stories.
Yes, you should.
It's kind of like I tell my rodeo kids now: what happens on the road stays on the road. So I catch a ride with Marilee McGraw. We've been friends forever, and she rodeoed here at Garden City. I rodeoed at Panhandle, but I was going to jump in with her to ride up there. I wasn't even hauling a horse. I said, I'll help you drive up there. And we even stayed in the same hotel room. Norman Stats, the coach that had been here at Garden for 30 years, he says, "Oh, that's fine with me as long as it's all right with y'all's parents." Okay, so it saved me money on the room, money I didn't have, because Panhandle State, we're pretty well known for, we back in that day weren't known for having the best rooms. But anyhow, we get up there and I break out to win the first round of bulldogging, and that was back when it was 2 and a short, and Mary Lee wins the first go round. So we had to go to the ring presentation that night. That was back when I was at the little motel and just a little atrium area. And so we get the ring and we get her, and then and I'm ready to go back to the room and go to bed or whatever, eat something, go to bed. And she's like, "Let's go to the cat's paw for a little bit." And I'm like, "No, I don't need to." She goes, "Yeah, just for a little bit." And I said, "If I go in the doors, I'm going to close it down." And I did. I closed her down in great fashion. And then I had my second steer the next morning. I drew up in the middle. That means I was toward the end of the first go round and then the beginning of the second go round. I didn't draw back into the performance. The college finals, my first year, I wasn't even in a performance.
Yeah.
It was different.
It was way different back then. And you weren't guaranteed a performance. And so my steer the next morning, he was terrible. I can't remember which Gilbert had him the first go, and I asked him about him. He goes, "Are you in the go round? Are you going for the go round?" The average, I said, "Go round." He's like, "Good luck." Okay. So
confidence booster right there. Good luck.
Yeah, time I caught him and it wasn't good, and he got away from me. So yeah, my first experience was not good at college finals. But Mary Lee went on to win the world. She won the barrel racing, and so I got to drive her home, and that was fun.
There you go.
Anyhow,
all right, let's talk about the rodeo.
What about Rider Right being 9.5 points with a rewrite option? You ever hear of that in your life?
That was unbelievable.
That is something to be 90.5 with a rewrite option. I'm guessing no one will ever do that, but you never know. I was surprised Creek Young, I thought he might take his score the other night, and he did the Tom Murray.
He did the same thing. Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention on the barrel racing the other night, when I was there watching it, I can tell you who's going to get done raking first, which crew. It's the third barrel crew. They're done.
Oh, yeah.
They're the first crew done every time. So.
Well, and I was going to mention, they're still running them pretty dang quick. Like, you can't tell. There's no time lost because they're raking.
Not a lot. I mean, it gives the announcers a little time to talk about things, and it's it's still not doing a lot for the ground. It's apparently it helps a little bit, I guess. The girls appreciating it, I guess, but But no, it's just funny. It's kind of like the first two barrels, them guys are a little more into it, and the third barrel guys, I think they're a little older, and they're like, "Yeah, that's good enough."
Whatever.
Let's move a little dirt. Let's go back inside the box over here. Stetson Wright looks like he's gotten tapped off. I mean, he's kind of been hit and miss all week, but then he split second in the saddle bronc last night, wins a bull riding with a 94.5 point ride.
Unofficially.
He unofficially, yeah, we got to finish around. They let him tap off. He's got the all around locked up, but they're going to let him tap off. If he wins close to 50,000 a night over the next 5 nights, he's going to have a pretty stellar week. So that bull ride last night was electric. That was fun watching. That
was unbelievable. And just to let everybody know what we kind of touched on there. So Shane Proctor was injured in the chute. They're giving him, I don't know how long they're giving him, but he could come back and get on tonight. So last night's bull riding results are not official. One of my actual pro fantasy teams did pretty well last night. One of the teams I have Stetson, my bull rider, Riders, my bronc rider, Coleman Proctor, Hedden, Emily, barrel racing. So I had a pretty good night. It would have helped if Hunter Heron could get a rope around one. Maybe they can let him put on and shoot or something. But that's kind of how it has to go here at my practice pen. If both boys aren't here and they want me to head them some, it's come down to, put the rope on and shoot.
Oh, maybe my header can do that too because he's 0 for 2 the last 2 nights.
But no, that's so fantasy rodeo, folks. There's not much results yet. They're waiting for Shane Proctor. So when would they buck his first bull, like the bareback riding or bronc riding tonight? It's been a while since we've seen this. Do you remember?
I honestly, I'm not sure. I don't even remember this ever happening. But then again, a lot of the times I was there in the early 2000s with my brother, I wasn't much help. I was kind of like a vampire.
Something, like this before. I know generally if it's an equipment failure, like if your horse tears up your saddle in the chute, they don't care. Like you get it fixed, you get someone else's right now. But
right.
A lot of times they'll give you, before the next go round to be able to compete. So
they may run him, like I say, they may buck him right from the get go before the first bareback horse. That way it gives him the rest of the perf to get ready to ride his next one, I guess.
Are they really going to do that? Are they going to run a bull in with the horses?
Yeah.
That doesn't really seem like a production friendly. It doesn't seem like it will go with the clean lines of production that we see from the NFR.
I don't know. It might be at the end of the bareback riding.
Yeah, it could possibly.
But they're not going to. I don't think that they give him quite a bit of time. They won't do him first and last in the bull riding. I don't think.
No, they won't. Yeah.
So I want to, when Luke does come on, I want to ask him about the fines. I want to be sure and talk to him about some of the fine stuff. I've been wondering, like the team rope, if the headers miss, they'll rebuild and put it back on one going out. And I kind of wonder if that's a fine or not, or if they've been told to, if they're responsible for getting their steers out of the arena.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, he might know that. I never know.
Yeah, I have several questions for him.
So you guys might know this. We were talking about, I should have asked it yesterday and I forgot. And I was reminded when they have, like in the bull riding, when there was only 2 rides and those guys split the pot, is that all? Do they split all of it? And what if it's not a tie? What if it's like first and second and nobody else rides?
60-40.
What is it?
60-40.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
And then it all counts now. Before, if you won, if you're the only one to ride, you won all the money, but you only got first place money counting for the world standings. Now I think it all counts. It all rolls forward, doesn't it, Jim Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of steer wrestling, Tyler Pearson, who has had heck at the finals, it seems like, since he won the world in 2017, wins a round last night, 3-6. Big Will Loomis places again. Jacob Talley breaks through 3-7, 3-8, 3-9. Dakota's 4 flat. So if you were over 4 flat, you didn't get a check last night. It'd be interesting to get Luke's take tomorrow on how he thinks his bulldog is going to shape up going into the back half of the finals.
Yeah, I think again, I already said it today, like as someone that picks winners by the color of their jersey and more by like their story and who I like, I like to see the variety of people being up on that buckle presentation stage. So then we get to know a little bit more of the cowboys that are not normally in the spotlight so much. So I think it's been a good week for that.
Oh, it's been great. What I've really been impressed with is these NFR rookies. I mean, Tristan Martin, NFR rookies, winning the average right now halfway through. Dirk Tavener's got a barrier. Otherwise, he'd be up there winning the average. He's, I think, 7th in the average right now. But these guys are handling it like they've been there before. Yeah. And you're seeing that in multiple events. It's not just in the steer wrestling, but in multiple events, these NFR rookies are really stepping up to the plate and handling the pressure. And it's been impressive and fun to watch. And as much as we like to see the tried and true champions, the past champions dominate, it's fun to see these young guns and young cowgirls come through and win and get to see them on the stage and hear their stories. And they're the next generation that's going to continue carrying rodeo forward and bringing in new fans. And it's been really fun to watch them perform this week in the bright lights of Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. Jim Boy, you told me last night there was a story when I texted about Emily winning the round.
Okay, so Mercedes, just so you know, Emily Miller Beisel rodeoed for me here at Garden City Community College, her first years. And they live out east of town. Her dad has a farm out there. Tom's a great guy, and Margaret's a great woman, her mom and dad. But and she texted me a while ago, sorry she didn't get it done for me when I was out there, so I could go on stage with them. But I sent her a voice text last night that's kind of fun. But anyhow, so I talked to Tom quite a bit. I don't want to bug her too much. I try to leave when I have a kid out there, I try to leave them alone and just send them supportive text. But anyhow, when I talked to Tom a little bit yesterday morning after we got off the show here, they figured out, and I don't know if they'll appreciate me telling this or not, but so she had this bit that she has in Chongo's mouth. I guess, I don't know if she put a new head stall on or whatever, but didn't have it adjusted tight enough. And one of her fellow, and this is what's awesome about rodeo. One of her fellow competitors there told her, she goes, Emily, I know that bit. I know the maker that made them bits. And it's not, you got to take it up. It's got to be tighter than most, So they looked at some videos, pictures, whatnot. And I guess coming home the other night, the shank was in Chongo's mouth. He had the shank in his mouth, and that's when he kind of blew out of the third. So they apparently got that fixed. So I mean, that's the thing about all these horses, little adjustments, with my boys coming along more in the calf roping here in the recent few years. Oh my gosh, there's so much to calf roping that people don't know about, and just trying to keep them horses working, the little tricks that you can do. And it's almost as hard to keep a calf horse working as a barrel racing horse. It's tough.
So many working parts.
Well, they say, and it's just it's minute, finite adjustments and just little things to shave off tenths of a second, make a horse feel more comfortable. I mean, and especially like say in the barrel racing and the tie down roping, because there's so many moving parts and it's going so fast.
Yeah. And that's what there's an older gentleman told us, I had him visiting with my boys at the college finals a few years ago. And I said, you soak up every word that man tells you. And is that older gentleman that helped coach at Walla Walla, I believe. I can't remember his name, but he told the boys, he said, I used to go put on roping clinics with Dean Oliver years ago. And he said, the way these boys are roping the NFR now, it's stupid. They have a plethora of people keeping the horses working. And you have to, there's several steps. And if you skip one, you've messed up the next three steps, Yep. You have to do all your little steps. And just like Joe was saying with John Douch last night, I think, if he could have hung on that slack a little bit longer and stayed in the stirrup, he's agile enough and athletic enough, he can do that. He's not going to get jerked down.
Right. He's not going to get lawn darted like I would.
Like I used to.
Yeah.
But that's when I tried roping calves at college rodeos. I only entered like Panhandle and Weatherford because they'd given all around saddle. And so I borrowed Marty McCloy's horse that he won the national championship on, and I was not the caliber of calf roper to ride that good of a horse. I can promise you. And that was when I was student director, and I had to pay a drag fine. I had to fine myself for drag fine because I wasn't good enough to tie calves. But thankfully, I could kind of bulldog a little bit back then. But anyhow, yeah, there's just it's crazy the things that and especially at this level, as far as keeping one up or not, and what it's going to cost you.
Well, and we're seeing it every night, and Joe makes it very, very evident. Is you don't think having one on his side is going to cost you that much time, but in an event that is so fast, having to get one up 0.2 of a second between place and not place, and winning around, winning fourth and around, and so having them standing, jumping in your arms when you get there, it's all about, like I say, just those little things, handling your slack, staying in that stirrup a tick longer. Like he was saying with Hunter, he's pulling that left foot out of the stirrup before his rope's getting there. Not using his long rope first. He's thinking about stepping off and tying, and that's costing your fantasy team a bunch, Jim boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, him too. Hey, so Jim Boy, I think you and I have seen it on social media a little bit more on some of the official NFR pages, on some other fan group pages. What do you think the percentage of new to the NFR rodeo fans are that we're looking at this year?
Due to,
I would say due to JB Mooney, because a lot of the comments that I'm reading are, well, in the PBR, they do it this way. In the PBR, they don't do this. And so, what I would love to know clearly this would be a really hard number to find, but I wonder what the true number of new rodeo fans we have now, because that non-compete clause doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. There's quite a few, and I know they're all looking for tickets, and they're going to have a hard time finding them. But that's, and I don't know if the Cowboy Channel, there's been the debate of, whether that's the channel to be on or not. I like it. I don't have any trouble getting it. When COVID hit and the Cowboy Channel came about, I didn't get much done.
Yeah.
to get out of the house and go do something with all them rodeos they're on, and just like an older gentleman. Was right there during Cheyenne this last summer. Was the Olympics, I think, going on, and he put on Facebook, "I'm tired of watching the Olympics. What else?" And I said, "Get the Cowboy Channel." And he's like, "What?" And so he got hooked, and he sent me a message that next day. He got it that afternoon, and he sent me a message that day. He said, "This is awesome." He said, "That's all I'm watching is Cheyenne," and
yeah.
Well, I think that Cowboy Channel maybe even is a bigger,
part of it,
a big part of it, as much, if not more than JB, just because people have access to it. People didn't know a lot about rodeo, but they heard about this Cowboy Channel app. They wanted new content. They kind of watch it, and it's built a new fan base, I think, for sure.
So we do have a comment from Greg Kernick. Teton Ridge spent $1.8 million at the bloodstock sale yesterday. They've assembled a team of equine professionals. Interesting where the Western industry is headed.
Well, the whole Teton Ridge. I seen their booth there at the trade show. They was just down from Mercedes' booth, and I walked by it, but I didn't stop to check it out. And I knew Brittany Posey Tanazi is a new endorsee for them. A few others I don't know for sure, but then I seen an advertisement for it last night, so I Googled that, and what's the deal? It's the co-owner of the Steelers. Is that right?
I don't know that.
Yeah,
I think that dude is the co-owner of the Steelers, and he went to Idaho because there's a story about a land grab in Idaho. He bought, I don't know how many millions of acres in Teutonia County. So that's where Teton Ridge comes from, I guess.
Well, I think the first time I heard about him was when Cowboy Channel announced that they were, they essentially bought the American.
Yeah, right. That was an article that popped up too on the Google.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that, Mercedes?
I don't. No, I don't.
You don't know come on, you got to have some gossip.
I know.
Now, gossip is totally allowed here. Almost encouraged, Did you hear about me and Brooks and Don and Reba the other night?
Yes.
From what I could read on their website, I went to their website, and there's some equine professionals, and I don't know. It's almost like they're going to build a facility for people to go get training. I don't know, and I think they're bringing in some rodeo folks and whatnot. And something last night. Do you know Jenna Moore, Mercedes?
I don't think.
She's a social media expert, I guess. I met her at the high school finals the night the little bull rider got arrested out by my trailer. When the sirens woke me up and I jumped out of my trailer in my shorts, and there's a little skinny bull rider got thrown on the ground and got arrested. And
my gosh.
Anyhow, it drew quite a crowd. And,
yeah, bet.
Yeah, it was late at night. Like the jackpots it was not too far from the jackpot arena and the the goat roping arena, and it was quite entertaining for a little bit. But I was visiting with this gal, and I'm like, "Who are you?" She was working for Cavender's, kind of a social media marketing rep for them, whatnot, and now she's doing something else. But something tells me I seen a snap from her last night. And something tells me she's involved with Teton Ridge a little bit, but that's where the gossip section comes from the show at. So
Well, and it looks like they have a foundation also that has been making size. It says sizable, so I don't know what that means, but to help foster community through preservation of the American West's unique culture and heritage. So, Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund, Professional Bull Riders, Reining Horse Foundation, Yellowstone Forever, Vital Ground Foundation. So there, it's kind of multifaceted, more than just the rodeo end of it, but also putting money back in.
Greg called me yesterday about that other company that's advertising quite a bit on the rodeo, that's doing the Jacob Edler commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Jacob pretty well, but I feel like I've seen the commercial with his dad in enough. We're going to invite him for Christmas.
Yeah. I think everybody feels that way.
My 14-year-old just mutes it now. She just mutes the nothing against her. She's like, it's muted.
All right, Mercedes, do you go to the rodeo?
I do. We went Friday and Saturday. I do not go every day. But we did go Friday and Saturday. It was a lot of fun. And then we just watch, wherever we're eating dinner or anything, we just stop there and watch it. So
have you taken any good shows?
You mean like non-rodeo?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. We did actually after the rodeo on Friday night. We went to Brooks and Dunn's in Reba. Actually, so funny that you said that earlier. And they were incredible.
And they were talking about Jim Boy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They gave you a shout out.
Big shout out.
Have you watched Chancey Williams? You know them?
No.
Oh my goodness! You need to go down to South Point tonight and watch
Chancey Williams and the Younger Brothers Band. Okay. They're actually from Wyoming, so.
Oh, okay.
But their fiddler is amazing and beautiful. I would say she pulls those boys together.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Kind of like Heidi does Jim Boy and I. She kind of brings us together.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put myself in her category. He does a really good show.
Awesome.
Yes.
So we've talked about this before, but my favorite part about Chancey is he knows what he's singing about. Like he rode broncs in college, in high school. So and when he writes about the rodeo world, like he knows about it. He's not just singing somebody else's song. So
yeah,
it's cool to see a guy like that have some success.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's what we need. We need to have like a music industry day. If we can get Austin and Chancey.
Well, I'm not really the guy unless it's Austin or Chancey.
Yeah, that's about the only tie I have too. Chancey was gonna get back to me about maybe Thursday or Friday. So
nice.
Or Reba,
Yeah, I mean, let me just send a message in real quick.
I used to practice at her place long ago. Back when she's married to Battles.
She used to have a Wyoming tie when she was married to Blackstock.
Oh.
I high school rodeoed with his son.
Nice.
Yes, he was an amazing bull rider, actually. He was a good bull rider. So, all right, you guys, any predictions? Or are you guys staying away from predictions?
I'm going to predict that Casey Fields is in the top 3 in the bareback riding tonight. I don't even know what he has. I'm gonna look right now. Here we go. Bareback riding round 5 or round 6. What round are we on? Casey Fields has got 2 buck chuck of Powder River Rodeo.
There you go.
Might not be enough horse.
That's good point. Good point.
Horse, they just might not be enough.
Yeah.
What is this round called as far as the bucking stock? I mean, wasn't round 5 the TV pin?
Is this back to the first night?
This is let's see. Who's out tonight? Vitalix, Ain't No Angel, Midnight Kid, You See Me, Shady Nights, Honey Hawk, Night Gazer, Little Red Hawk, A Flying U, 2 buck chuck, Game Trail, Papa Top, Colorado Bulldog, Nightcrawler, Yum Bugs. So,
yeah, this is just kind of the easy day off horses.
Well,
but that pin last night, them were the top dogs. I mean, Them were the ones you want to own right there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good chances in there.
Yeah.
Well, we still have a lot of rodeo left, you guys. I think it'll be it's been interesting to watch this year.
Well, yeah, like I say, we start the second half tonight. Halftime's over. We're coming back into the perf tonight, round 6, and you're seeing how the world titles, start to take shape, and that average is going to play a huge part all the way across. But like I say, the bareback riding, it's kind of, Casey's kind of got control of it right now. Steer wrestling, Tristan Martin, he's got the lead. He's got to close the gap on Jacob Talley, but being that he's way up in the average, that's going to help him. The team roping, last night they opened the door because guys are breaking the barrier. Clay Smith and Jake Corkill made a great run, break the barrier. Well, then Junior and Caleb come back, and they break the barrier. But there's only 4 or 5 teams that have got all the cattle caught. So Andrew Ward and Buddy Hawkins are winning the average, but it didn't drop those other 2 teams that far because they still got them all caught. And, saddle bronc riding, it's a two-man race, 3-man race right now.
And the team roping last night, they should have gave some healers some horn knots.
Let them do a little tying on.
Feel bad for Trey Yates after what they pulled off the night before, and then last night he can't get a dally. And was he the one, or was the other dude that the rope came down on his horse's head? And
it was another guy's rope came down right between his horse's ears, and he couldn't dally, and cost him. Oh, you're just kind of sitting there like you feel for these guys, and just have weird stuff happen like that.
Yeah. Well, we're set for another good round, I think.
I think it's time. Like I say, it's time. It's Vegas. It's a back half of the finals, Las Vegas, and it's going to get wild in Western, and it's going to be fun. Mercedes, thank you for stopping by.
Mercedes, are you ready to go home? Like, you've been out there for probably already a week and a half at least.
So I have actually only been out here. It'll be a week tomorrow. We have an amazing team and staff that leaves the day after Thanksgiving. They get to Vegas on Saturday, and they set up the booth starting Sunday. So our shapers and our president of our sales, Dan Redding, and president Keith Mundy, they'd all do a fabulous job of that. So my mom and I are able to fly in on Wednesday. We had that Wednesday night kind of first pre-round, and then it's been going nonstop 9 to 4 every day. So we'll be here until Sunday.
Well, hang in there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Emergency and all that other good stuff.
Magnesium, zinc, vitamin C.
Oh, yes. I'm taking all of the supplements right now.
All the things.
All the things.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I know, so when I got hold of my brother, I'm like, hey, is there any way you can get her on? I want to get somebody from the trade show. And I'm sure he probably thought I was some weird old creeper guy, from the start when I first approached you at the, hey, I need my other hat for me.
No, it's so great meeting you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to start dropping faces off here so I can do my sign off, but it always feels awkward when I do that. It makes me feel sad.
All right, you guys. Hey, have a great rest of you.
Have Luke locked in for tomorrow?
Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be here. If not, if he tries to bail, I will get mom involved, and I will pull the mom card. And I don't care how old we are, 41 and 46. We'll bring mom in, and he's going to be on. No, he'll be on tomorrow.
And then we have Garrett Jurgen lined up for Thursday. Is he one of your guys, Mercedes?
Oh, I think so, actually. Sorry, sure? we have so many now.
Yeah.
So many great people. But I think he might be.
Well, it sounds like we've got a pretty good lineup. And of course, we're going to save Mike Greenleaf for the Sunday wrap up. I'm sure he's taking notes.
Yeah, he told me yesterday, he says he's only gotten to watch a couple of perfs. He's a busy man. But
I get it.
But he'll still have
We'll still have stuff.
Well, he calls me yesterday. He goes, well, JB Mooney's going to make me eat my words. And I said, I told you, because he called me the other day. He goes, I cannot believe you didn't put JB on one of your teams. I said, dude, he could get run over by a valet driver going to the rodeo tonight, you know? So it might not have been a valet driver. It might have been a couple of bulls.
Might have been a couple bulls.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to be a bull rider there. I mean, them bulls are
or anywhere.
You know, oh, and that's funny because he said, you know, he was griping about the first night they rode too many. And then he was griping a few nights later when they only rode 2. And his brother's like, there's no pleasing you.
No pleasing you at all. It's the perfect number, 7.5. You got to ride 7.5 a night.
Yeah.
3.5.
And that could be tonight. So.
Well, thank you guys so much. I'll do our sign off. Thank you so much, Mercedes. We appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Yep.
All right,
you guys. We will see you tomorrow morning.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys have a good day. Back to the paying job now.
Yeah, back to reality. Dang it.
Yep. We'll see you guys.
See you later.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. We are doing this every morning after the NFR. We like to call it NFR Hangover because it's been a really long time since we've had to stay up this late, so we know what the heck we're talking about today. Special thanks to Mercedes Maddox and American Hat Company. We super appreciate your time and your stories. Very interesting company. If you guys are not familiar with it, look it up. They've got a great family story to tell. Also want to give a shout out to Cinch Jeans and Shirts. Lead, don't follow. We are proud to partner with that company for NFR Hangover and also for all of our normal content on Bullfrog Creatives. Also want to give a thank you to Con Williams Art Studio. They are now in Vegas. I believe we'll be setting up today. And that trade show, the Working Ranch Expo, is at Las Vegas Convention Center. And they're going to be opening tomorrow. So you swing by. If you mention Bullfrog Creatives, you get 10% off. So also, I don't want to forget the naming contest that we're having for their newest piece. Scroll down. I will go ahead and share that again and bring that up to the top of the feed. But looking for a name for their newest masterpiece. So you guys don't want to miss out a chance on that. Tomorrow, we will have Luke Branquino join us, and we'll talk, I'm sure, all things steer wrestling. And that's about it. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Perfection almost looks easy. No! But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.